good to go.
Welcome, everybody. This is Brett Davis to Brett Davis Unleashed on IQ Podcast at Attorney King Studios in beautiful Coronado, California. My guest today is Bobby Bluford. How are you doing, Bobby?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Sorry.
Coach Bobby.
Coach Bobby is fine. Coach Bobby is fine. Thank you very much, Brett, for having me.
So you went to, was it Davis you went to?
I went to UC Davis. I'm sorry?
Economics major?
Yeah, it's crazy. I was initially a computer science major, but after like one or two math classes, I went to my counselor. I said, "What else you got?" And I ended up majoring in and get my degree in managerial economics, which is UC Davis's business major. So yes,
so
economics.
How does one become Coach Bobby from being Dr. Bobby of economics?
It's crazy.
That's a different leap, right?
It's a path and journey. 35 years in the making. So I played football at UC Davis. I've had a passion for chasing greatness my whole life. I didn't call it that back then, obviously, but since I was a 8, 9, 10-year-old kid, I've always had a vision and a dream of impacting people, right? And initially, I thought that was going to be through football. That I envisioned myself being a pro athlete. This is an 8-year-old kid, dreaming this, being a pro athlete. But I never really thought about what most 8-year-olds would think about in terms of being a pro athlete. I always thought about what I could do with that, what I could do in terms of being a pro athlete and able to go into the community, into schools, into companies, and then teach people about how to tap into their gifts. So, and that was, again, that was age 8, 9, 10. So, through middle school and high school, football was the avenue which I thought I could do that. I saw myself doing that. So going into school, but I always had a little bit of a nerdy part to me. I enjoyed learning things. So upon, going into school, I just, computer science was the thing that I thought was going to be a major I could gravitate to. Again, as I said, the math was too much, but I enjoyed statistics and numbers. And so I ended up, having a stats class and, changed to economics. But, at the core of who I am is somebody who likes to teach people and inspire people. So even though I've kind of gone in and out of being labeled a coach, I've always been a coach at heart. So as my bio, if you see my bio online, it says, after a short stint at a startup out of college, I didn't play professionally. I actually went back to school and got my MBA in finance, which I used then to go on to be a CFO, chief financial officer, or director of finance for 2 startups over a 10-year period. So you went from
that's amazing.
Yeah, so I did that,
and then you get your MBA in finance.
Right.
So we're going on this course where we're 2 startups. Were you even thinking about the training or the coaching?
No. I mean, I've always, I'm not, I still to this day don't consider myself a trainer. I don't have a kinesiology degree. Obviously, I'm not certified in anything in terms of getting somebody else to tell me what I need to know about training people. Everything I know, I learned on my own, and I've done on my own. So I always prefer the term coach, in large part because most of what I teach people has nothing to do with exercise, right? And I'm doing a webinar this Saturday that talks about that. But most of what we try to get in life and our dreams, we always want to start with the tools and the steps and the classes and the workout and the diet. Why I prefer coach is that I always teach people that's step 3. Step 1 and 2 is a belief that you can do it and a sincere want and desire. So, even in finance, I found myself coaching people in life and in fitness or in relationship because, I'm married 20 years almost. I got 2 kids who still love me.
God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And so to me, coach is what I prefer because I've always been coaching. And so how I got back into fitness and kind of went into fitness was I saw that as an avenue that most people think about. Almost everybody wants to be fitter. Not everybody wants to be rich. Not everybody wants to be a CFO or a podcast, a brilliant podcaster. But everybody at some point wants to be healthier and fitter. So I knew that I had done that pretty successfully and still continue to. And I knew people saw me as that. Even as a CFO, I would do a boot camp, during lunchtime, and people always saw me as a person who recognized the importance of fitness. So I knew that was a way for me to connect with people. And even, after my last startup got acquired, and I said, I want to do this. I never had the intention of building some, big old conglomerate of gyms or being some celebrity, fitness model. I always saw it as a step to tapping into people's greatness in whatever they want to do, but using the fitness part as kind of a lure or a bridge to that. So that's kind of how I got into it. I've always been coaching in some capacity, but now I'm using, what God has given me in terms of my fitness ability and my physique and my football background. All that I kind of use to teach people about being great at whatever.
So what type of clients do you typically get and what kind of program do you teach?
So my system, I call it Ultimate Muscle Confusion. And it's basically, I kind of created it out of necessity. When I was younger, I grew up on, old, sorry for the shaking the camera. I grew up on old school, not bodybuilding, but old school football lifting principles. So you had your body split, one day's back, one day's chest, trying to get strong and big. I'm a football player. But as I got older, as many people experience, I realized two things. I didn't have time to be in the gym every day and do this whole body split idea. And number two, because I wasn't moving around as much, my metabolism had slowed down. I wasn't active. I wasn't running around playing football or doing all those things that 20-year-olds do. My body fat began to go up. And I had never thought about cardio ever. So I began to kind of reconfigure my ideology about training. So my system is still built on some principles from football and weightlifting, but it's built more on two newer systems or two newer concepts in terms of muscle confusion, which is always shocking your muscle, never giving it the same function or exercise, and then interval training. And now it's high intensity interval training, which is getting your body into a state of what's called EPOC, which is an acronym for excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. The idea basically is you're making your body consume energy not only during the workout, but for an expanded period afterwards. So you're maximizing your time on task. So the idea is of working harder for shorter periods, and then the idea of always giving your body different stimulus or stimuli is what it's built on. Now, who I get in terms of my clientele, I get people of all makes and models and backgrounds and ages. My youngest clients that come to my gym outside of my athlete training are in their teens. My oldest clients are in their 60s. And the beauty of my program is they can be doing the same exact workout, right? Some modify, some go heavier, obviously. Some do more intense versions of the exercises. But all my clientele, they all do the same exact workout.
So typically, a basic program is how many days a week?
So it's funny with this whole shelter in place. I'm actually better able to manage the whole week for my clients. Prior to that, I only had my classes, on site in the gym classes Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and we had a Saturday class. So my program is built around doing the workout 3 or 4 days a week. That's it, because it includes resistance training, cardiovascular activity, and abdominal/core work in the one workout. So because you're doing that, you don't need to go successive days or many days. So my model is built upon going 3-4 days a week only. And your off days, when you couple that with how I suggest people ingest nutrients or ingest energy or eat, when you overlap that with how I suggest they do that, it matches. So when you're not working out, you're minimizing your intake. When you are working out, you're giving your body more energy in terms of food. But the program is meant to be done 4 days a week. It can be done more as you get more fit. Ironically, you have to do it less often because your body, your lungs can handle the capacity for the intensity part of it, which means your muscles get more work. Beginners can go every day because their lung capacity prevents them from going harder or heavier, so their body can handle more. But as you get more in shape, you actually have to do the workout as designed less often. So 3-4 times a week is what I suggest.
How many minutes?
Under an hour for sure. Usually 50 minutes is our class time, and then we do a stretch. But the classes that I'm doing now virtually, they're all an hour total, but that includes the warm up and the stretch. So we're looking at 50 minutes, 52 minutes of work.
And what about nutrition? You talked about recovery and how important is eating the right plan.
Yeah, it's integral. Now I don't believe in this. People say, well, you see all these adages online. It's 80% diet. I don't really believe in that. What I believe in is they're both critical, right? It's like, what's more important, your engine or your tires, right? The engine costs more, but give me an engine with no tires, you're not going anywhere. So they're not equally important. They're both important. The important aspect of eating is when you eat and what you eat. And your whole goal should be to fuel your body at the times it needs that fuel. So I teach people, I have my own kind of philosophy. I teach people to manage what I call the G tank, right? So if you manage your body's levels of glucose, which is carbohydrates, broken down into your bloodstream, and glycogen, which is your body's stored energy in your muscle and liver. If you manage that correctly and efficiently, you can build a lifestyle and a regimen to where you never ever gain body fat ever, right? And on top of that, you will build a lifestyle and an ideology to where you regularly, in increments, burn body fat. Most people attack it the wrong way, and they put their body into these extreme situations trying to burn body fat, and they set themselves up for failure. So I teach them through this philosophy how to do that correctly. And you can eat what you want. You just can't eat it all the times or at the wrong times. So I take a picture of everything I eat, and I regularly send out a collage of what I ate for the week to my classes. I eat pizza, I eat donuts, I eat hamburgers, I eat fries. I just know when to eat them. And I just know how much to eat. So I believe in intermittent fasting. I don't believe in not eating anything. So I don't believe in going no sugar. I don't believe in, now less is better. There are things that are less good for us, obviously, right? But the problem people have is they'll undertake a diet, for example, that they have no intention of doing forever. No intention. Right. I'm going no sugar for 30 days. Why? Because they say it's bad for you. Then stop forever. Mm-hmm. Oh, I can't do that. Well, let's do this. Let's minimize it forever, which is better, right? Or they go on this training program where they'll do 30 days at P90X, whatever. And it's like, well, can you do that forever? No. Are you going to do it forever? No. Then don't do that. Let's do 3 days a week forever. Let's do 4 days a week forever. So I'm about changing things in a manner that you can do forever. If it's worth changing, then you've identified a reason to change it. And that reason normally is that you believe it's not good for you. Well, if that's the case, let's find a way to change that habit forever. So, I was a hard gainer, Brett. So I grew up eating everything, trying to get big for football. So I had as bad a habits to break as anybody. So if you would tell me, 4 or 5 years ago that I would be fasting, intermittent fasting every day for 18 hours and just eating in a window of 6-7 hours, I would have said you're crazy. But I knew that I didn't want to eat carbs all day forever. And
Sure.
so I changed that. I changed that in the right way. I changed it over time. Now I'm to a point, my body runs the way it should run. My body runs the way our ancestors' bodies run. My body runs the way I love it. The analogy I like to create is I eat and train the way beasts eat and train, tigers, lions, right? So they don't eat all day long. They eat just what they need. And so that's how all animals should be fueling their body. You fuel your body in a
Paleo?
way. I mean, yes and no. So what I meant by that is in terms of, so there's three elements to, now paleo is good because it's natural, but again, as I said earlier, I don't believe in adhering to one strict thing, right? I love pizza. I love donuts. Why would I go? I mean, paleo is great, but I'm not gonna not ever have a donut again, right?
Sure.
I would never go, full on keto because I like carbs. So, and most of us do. I don't know anybody. And I'm sure somebody's gonna probably, reply to this podcast. I don't know anybody personally who has done keto and has not had to get back on keto at some point.
Sure.
Right. And if you go on
Right.
if you go on my Instagram or my Facebook, goes back like 10 years now, you will never see a post of me saying I'm back on something. I'm back on the grind because I did it the right way. I didn't attack this issue, this problem in an extreme manner. I did it in a way that I could do it forever. Right. And I teach that. So, my point was I identified, I'm a nerd. Sarah tells I'm a nerd. So I identified
Okay, it's great.
how animals eat, right? So if you're a tiger, which I wanna say I am like, or a lion, or any beast in the animal kingdom, or if you identify with like the 300 Spartan guy, like 300 the movie, right? The three elements that they did, right? They have to hunt before they eat, right? You have to
Right.
go kill. So if you bring that back to our times, you have to work out if you want to eat, right? Our ancestors had to walk down to the stream to get water,
Right.
right? They had to go kill their food, so they had to work out before they ate.
Uh-huh.
Right nowadays, you can't get nobody to get up in the morning and work out. I can't work out. I have to eat first. What do you mean? Right? Our ancestors had to work out first. All animals have to work out first. Number one. Number two, right? You only kill what you need to eat. Right? A lion or a tiger is only going to hunt if it has to. Because even though it's going to win the fight against the gazelle or the deer, it's going to have some damage done to him or her. And they know that in their DNA. So they don't just kill and chase down, gazelles and deer for fun. They do it when they're hungry, and they only kill what they need to eat. Their body tells them what they need. We don't do that. We go to Coco's or Red Lobster,
Right.
and
Right.
we eat way more than we need, right? The last principle is no animal in the animal kingdom that's worth its weight, that's a badass, right, eats to their full. None of them do. You never see, now a tiger might carry a carcass back to its cubs, right? Right? That might happen, but you will never see an animal in the animal kingdom eating and just roll over and full. They're not trained. We're not. Our bodies aren't trained to do that, and we do
Wow.
all the opposite of that. We never hunt before we eat. Never. Right? We always kill more than we need to eat, and we always eat beyond being full. So if you just think in terms of what your body was meant to do, what our ancestors had to do, if you think in terms of that, then you begin to see how things are all backwards and how we can and should be doing things differently. Just from that standpoint, even if you still ate donuts and still ate pizza, if you just adhere to those principles, it would be less often. You wouldn't be till you're full, and you'll be working out before you had the pizza or the donuts. So
You keep mentioning pizza and donuts. Is there a reason why?
I like those. I don't know why, but I like those. That's universal.
Is
That's
there
universal.
what philosophy as far as your life? I mean, you believe in good energy, being around good people. I mean, do you meditate in the morning? Do you pray? I mean, how do you get yourself? How does Coach Bobby get himself ready for the day?
I pray. I'm in a Bible study, and with some good guys, and they hold me accountable to things. I should pray more. I want to meditate. I'm like everybody else. My mind gets pulled.
Sure.
Um, I will say this. I did a video recently about about how powerful our thoughts are. And so what I try to tell people, I have these 5 steps to greatness, right? And the first 2 steps are all around a desire and a belief that you can do what you want to do, right? Whatever that is, lose weight, build a successful podcast, become a speaker like Coach Bobby wants to become. There are steps that you must take to do that, right? Get equipment, learn how to speak eloquently, learn how, for me, it's how to find stages. But before all that, it's a sincere want, the step one of my 5 steps, and a belief, which are foundationed in thoughts. And so most of us wake up, right? And every day we have 70,000 thoughts a day, right? And for most of us, including me, for most of us, if we're not diligent and vigilant about it, those thoughts are the same thoughts we had the previous day. And so if our reality yesterday was not what we wanted, which for most of us, I hope is not the case, is the case, that it is not, we do want more, then in order to change our reality tomorrow, our thoughts today must be different. And we can't do that by happenstance. You can't get up and check your phone and turn the television on and expect your thoughts to be different. So you have to, and people hate doing it because I don't want to meditate. I don't want to think positive thoughts.
Right.
You have to. You have to proactively and aggressively fight. And the older you get, the longer that recording is in our voice, in our head. That recording for me is 48 years of work, of being a stuttering kid, of being a kid who felt ugly, of being the only Black kid in my class early, of all these things that we've gone through, of not losing weight, of the failed interview, whatever it was. We have of your mom telling you this or your dad. So those recordings, as you get older, are long. And if you don't wake up every morning and actively and proactively and aggressively create your own thoughts to override those, you have no chance of winning today, which means tomorrow's reality will be the same as yesterday's. So I wake up, I write down affirmations, I try to sit there and think about things. And again, it's like, boom, I got to force it. I listen to YouTube videos that are about law of attraction, that are about mindset. And I try to make sure that I at least spend some time actively fighting that voice that we all have. Because you have to do that. If you don't do that, you have no chance at all of getting better today.
Right. And we have to break through those chains of dysfunction that we've been programmed in a lot of cases, that we start to try to be successful. Something comes into our lives in the past and tries to pull us back. That takes work. What's a good website that people can go to if they want to find out more about what you're doing, Coach Bobby?
Yeah, it's very simple. So my website is coachbobbybluford.com. So coachbobbybluford.com. You'll find my videos on my motivational stuff. You'll find my workouts on there. All that I'm up to, guys. So coachbobbybluford.com.
What an honor to finally meet you. Sarah has talked about you for so long and such high regards, and you're a true gentleman. And man, I'll tell you, you look great.
Thank you, Brett. Appreciate it, buddy.
You're motivating and inspiring all of us during this COVID-19. You look fantastic. Oh, look at the guns, man. Look at the guns. The gun show.
But I give you one of those.
I'll show you mine right now, but I've got to get myself back to where I was.
I'll send you a plan. I'll send you a plan, Brett. I'll hold you accountable. I'll send you a plan.
Okay, I know you will. You'll bring out the beast in me.
I got you.
Okay, Bobby. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, brother. God bless you guys.
God bless you. I want to thank everybody for listening to this great interview with Coach Bobby and here at Brett Davis Unleashed on IQ Podcast at Attorney King Studios. He's a great guy. He's got some great information, and he's a life coach. He's not just a trainer. He's a life coach. He really cares. And if you get a chance, again, check out that website. What was it again?
Coach Bobby Bluford. Bluford with no E.com. CoachBobbyBluford.com.
There you go. And I also want to thank my sponsors for the show, Attorney King, Amanpour. Thank you so much for believing in us. Also, Indian Motorcycle of San Diego and Cosmopolitan Restaurant and Hotel. Thank you all for your support, and Without your support, we wouldn't have our electricity or our show. And God bless.
God bless.